Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. Tonight is going to be a real good, like a girlfriend chat. It's going to be really good. But before we get into all of the logistics, let's just get down to this video.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun kiss goddess, heavenly order. Levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, dog.
Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together. My name is Ursula B, and I'm just a black girl trying to get her shift together. So what we're going to do tonight before we get into the show, just a little housekeeping. If you hear my voice, please like, comment, share this video. We got a lot to talk about tonight. So if you miss it, make sure and type replay in the chat. Make sure and subscribe. Hit the subscribe button. It's free. And if you're listening on the audio podcast, please give your girl a 5-star review because I know y'all are listening. I see the analytics, but it really would be nice. And special announcement, Black Girls Getting Their Shift Together is now on Amazon Music. So I'm in these podcast streets. So come on, let's do this. All right. Tonight, I'm going to bring one of my YouTube sisters onto the stage. I'm going to bring her out, and I always liked her. I always liked her show, and she's really pretty, so I'm already just drawn towards her, but I always liked her show, so it's really good that we're doing our first show together. So I'm going to bring her out of the waiting room.
Hello.
Hey, beautiful. How are you?
Hello, lovely. I'm doing just fine. Greetings to you and everyone. Thank you for having me on the podcast as a guest tonight. This is exciting.
It really is. I don't know, things just happen how they're supposed to. So yeah, this is wonderful. You're getting a bunch of hellos. Oh, no sound. If you all can hear me, please put a 1 in the comment section.
And I hope they can hear me. Hopefully. Hey, GT Jr. I hope y'all can hear me.
Can you hear both of us? Just put it in the comment section would be great. Okay, so if you do not recognize LaQuita, she has a YouTube channel, or used to have a YouTube channel called Blind Guy, His Life and His Wife.
Don't worry about it. Don't try to say it. That was a problem with the first channel. People could never say it right because it was a tongue tie. So that was a part of the rebrand. And so, yeah, but go ahead. Blind Guy, His Wife, Their Life was the channel. Yes.
Right. So that's who LaQuita is, and that's how we met. So for people because I know your audience, but some people don't know my audience know you. Can you tell everyone briefly about what that show was about?
Sure, absolutely. So the channel, the focus of the channel was health, business, and wealth. And basically, with that channel, we talked about all things health, business, and wealth. But we did need to just a second, please.
No worries. So anybody who has watched Blind Guy and His Wife, why don't you put your favorite moment of that show? She's back, but still put your favorite moments in some of the shows that you've witnessed. But go ahead, LaQuita.
Yeah, because Thank you so much because, one thing that we would do with that show was we would have a plant-based treat segment, and that was a very popular segment where my goal is to get people eating fruits and vegetables every spread. Nutrition has always been a passion of mine. It was not always a passion of my husband's. And, you know, since he faded from the show, well, I won't get into that yet, but before he faded from the show, you know, he was definitely into, oh, okay, let me just pick up the mic. I love to be on the mic. We both love the mic.
Right.
However, um, it was, yeah. The main thing of the show was the main point of the show was let's just help people with the small business, any small business tools that we know and love. Let's share those, any wealth building tips. And even with those things, those are really my passion as well, more so than anybody else's. My husband's main concern was, oh, okay, where's the microphone? And
Right.
now that I'm done with that, because over the years we had been married 31 years and together.
Has it
Excuse me,
been
we've been
that long?
together 31 years, married for 23 years, and
Wow.
yeah, and during that time, I
Yeah.
was always Mary J's song, I was your lover and your secretary, working every day of the week.
Yeah, yes, yes.
Yeah,
Okay. So can you tell everybody about the rebranding of Blind Guy, his
don't
wife,
even try
and
it.
then I'm looking at the note from Gail. Thank you, Gail. Gail is Gail is gailing.
Thank you, Gail.
Thank you, Gail. But yeah, can you
Yeah.
talk about the rebranding or the name change briefly?
Yeah, absolutely. So I'll just be frank and honest. Like on our channel, I just tried to keep it as, oh, we're just going to rebrand. We're just going to focus on nutrition. But watching your channel, you are always so supportive of mental health
Oh
and people
yeah.
in relationships and having challenges, not just the women, but the men as well. And I will say that with this whole rebrand, I've had a lot of support from women and they've been just champions. And actually the women have even helped Corey. So the men have not as much, but the women
Mhm.
have. So when the gist of it is that Corey just started quiet quitting. Corey cannot see. He has been blind for a very long time, my husband Corey, but he just started to quietly quit so that um by the time we got, and not just on the broadcast, but just overall, right?
So
So we'll stick,
may I ask
yeah,
a question?
sure.
If I'm out of line or you're not ready to answer anything, you just let me know because we're just two
Okay.
girlfriends talking with all of our best friends on YouTube. But seriously, just let me know because I definitely respect boundaries and that's what we do over here. So when you say Corey was quiet quitting,
Mhm.
dare I ask, was it just with the show or was it personal in the marriage as well?
Yeah. Yeah, I will say over the course of our marriage, I've always been the go-getter, the person that was like, let's do this, let's do that. And I would just grind.
Hmm.
And Corey would say that he was grinding, and I guess he thought he was as well. But I don't know if he was always pulling the blind card, like, oh, but I can't do this because I can't see. But yeah, it just wasn't those, I will say, just in our marriage and in life in general. I was more of the person that always was kind of, and I won't say always because that's one word he didn't like me to say. You're not always doing this or that. So I won't
Hmm.
say always, but um, my first, middle, and last name is Work. I'll just say that. And and people know me that, oh, Quita's at work or she's helping somebody or she's doing something. And
Right.
his mainstay was receiving help. That was pretty much him. He would
Oh.
help if he'd like or if he felt like it would benefit him. And so I said, well, maybe that's a man thing, but my dad wasn't really like that, but he kind of was, I guess, in a sense. Whereas my dad would pick and choose, he knew what he wanted to do, but he also gave a lot of himself. So that's where I looked at it and I said, well, no, I don't think this is just a man thing. Maybe it's a blind thing. And that's where I say, possibly pulling the blind card. But quiet quitting is when, Corey's talented and he could write full scripts. With our nonprofit, we would put on stage plays and we would perform at festivals and have different storytelling. He could write a full script. But then when it came to the talk show, Blind Guy, His Wife, he would have typos in a 2-paragraph description. He would spell my name wrong. And it felt like sabotage to me,
I was
like,
gonna
oh,
ask you, do you think that was sabotage? Do you feel that was the part of the quiet quitting during the show? Like that
yeah.
silent quiet quitting?
Pretty much, yes. And so I would always address things as they would come up, but I will say that I'm a person that always sees the glass as half full. So a lot
Mhm.
of things I'm like, okay, I'm going to ask about it. I'm going to try to fix it. I'm going to try to just say, okay, let's move on. Let's just get it done because at the end of the day, I know that the show must go on.
Right.
Literally, whatever you're doing, the show must go on because we have children and with our three children, I thought I would be tonight in a studio or a different place, but they had an event. That's why I'm in the car because I'm like, the show must go on. Let me just do the broadcast from wherever I can do it
Right.
because I had a commitment tonight, and so I prefer to keep my commitments and keep everything moving smoothly, keep everybody happy, and quiet quitting. There's another word that I heard that kind of describes what he was doing. But the point is that he was doing less and less. And at this point, we really don't
What does that
communicate.
look like when you say less and less?
Less and less means we have a checklist. We had a still have a checklist for the show.
Right.
We discussed the checklist, we created the checklist, and then I would add things to the checklist as well. I was
Mhm.
the only person checking the list. So at first, we were checking it, and then less and less he was checking it and doing things on the checklist as well. And rather than saying, no, I didn't do this or I didn't do that, I'll give you a concrete example.
Mhm.
One of the goals was I said, look, we can't wait until the week of the show to produce the show. We have to look ahead. Let's have 2 weeks
Yeah.
worth of shows. And it was his job his role, I should say, to get a guest on the show, that part for the
Mhm.
communication, or even just to think of ideas for the show.
And that
Uh,
takes a lot. It does take a lot, so I can understand what you're saying about that for sure. It's not hard, but it's not easy. It takes work,
It does take work
effort.
and it does take preparation. Whereas, for people, anybody that, in the content creation space, they know that you do have to kind of prepare. Even when you do a pop up live, you have to have a topic, and so less and less, he would always still wait until Monday, Tuesday. And I would tell him, listen, I still have to do the thumbnail. I still have to do the editing because even though you wrote the description, since there are constant setbacks, you have typos or you have the information wrong, you just made up a link rather than actually search the link. He's very
Oh.
well versed online. Like he can go to a website, he can clip links, he
Wait,
knows
did
how
you
to do
say lies or lying?
on I ain't gonna say both, but online.
I really didn't hear you, so
I know. Online.
I didn't know.
Um I
Okay.
know, no, online. So I'm
Mhm.
like, well, why did you have this link? Well, I thought that's what it was. And I would say, well, why did you think that? And
Mhm.
and so when I'm saying why do you think that, then um, now you have to answer a crazy question because it's like, well, what did you do the crazy thing for? So long story short, that's what quiet quitting looks like. And then on top of that, he stopped communicating so that we don't not really. If I say something to Corey, he'll say something to me. But from the early part of this year, maybe February, he just wouldn't say one word. And we had in-person shows that we went to in February where he didn't say one. I said, I'm just gonna see how far he takes this. Didn't say one word. So I didn't say one word. We did the show because we can do the shows in our sleep. We've been doing them since 1998, 25 years.
Mhm.
And that was an in-person show. But online, it was the same thing. He would just come sit down 30 seconds before the live, get up right after the live, and not say all the checklist things like, oh, make sure you monetize the video, make sure you do this, like, all the before and after checks. So that's what the quiet quitting looked like, to the point where, rather than just say, I don't want to do this and I'm not going to, it was, I'm gonna just stop, but I'll still put on the show and give the air to others that I'm involved.
I was gonna
And
ask you that if he just ever said, "Hey, I don't wanna do this anymore."
no, he did say, I never wanted to do the live show anyways. And I'm like, okay, well, if
Oh.
you never wanted to do the live, but he says that about a lot of most things. like over the course of our working together and career, I've heard that quite a few times. And what I took that to mean, because I would talk through it, I would say, well, what did you want to do? Well, how are we going to get that done? If you never wanted to do the dance theater, then how are we going to have, how are we ever going to grow and scale with just the two of us?
Mm,
Because with a dance theater and other people involved, yes, we have to manage those people, but that means you can go to one location with one set of people. I can go to another location. We've done that before. That's what a team does for you. That's what extra people does. But then it's like, well, I don't feel like doing it right now, so that'll be my
right.
answer. And so that's where I just said, okay, well, when he said I didn't want to do the live show anyways, I said, okay, well, maybe this is the same thing as always, rather than him saying, I'm absolutely not going to do it. Because the other things he would say that, but eventually he would just figure out what part of that thing he wanted to do, and then he would say it.
Mm,
I never understood though, like, well, what is the difficulty here? Like we've known each other too long. Um, just say what you have to say. You know, we don't have to mince words. We don't have to make up excuses for each other. And so when I rebranded, that's where I had talked to several business coaches. And like I said, the women were champions. They came through and they were like, okay, focus on one thing. What's your mainstay? What's your favorite aspect? And I said, well, nutrition and food. And they said, okay, go with that. If you want to still talk about business or wealth, come from a food standpoint. And they asked, you know, do you need help, or are you okay with doing this by yourself? Do you have what you need? And so that's been beautiful. That's been very beautiful because I did not get the help that I had given all those years to his passion. I have not gotten that on my end either. So yes, you're muted for your sound went out just now. Sorry.
this microphone will not let me be great, but it's not going to get the best. Quita, I'm getting these questions out. I don't care what this microphone is doing. It's trying it. So, audience, if you all have any questions, respectfully, just drop them in the chat and we'll answer. Quita will answer as best as she can. Good evening, Business Talk with Kay. Hi, G. Albert. Um, Ene, Naya. That's a
Nia,
pretty
yes.
name.
I mean Nia. Mm-hmm.
Oh yeah, I've heard you say that name in the
Yes.
on your show. I had a question, and Gail at night actually was in my head. She said, "Hi, Bravo with Sheila Network." Gail at night said, "So using blindness as a crutch, knowing he is capable, but people would help him because he's the quote unquote blind. Well, he is blind, but he's the
Right.
blind
But
guy."
absolutely. And so like even okay, we would pull the blind card together when we needed to. Like, because I have a lead
Wait,
foot.
what do you mean?
Okay, so let me just explain. I have a lead foot. We drive a lot. We would drive a lot to travel to do these different performances and whatnot. So I'd be flying and I would get pulled over. And whenever I get pulled over for a ticket, I just start talking. And one of the first things I say is, "Oh, you know, my husband's blind," and it just throws the policeman off, right? And I a lot of times with a smile, a cute driver's license picture, and the husband is blind, the cops will let me go, right? And so and then you know in other ways when people if it's busy, if people see him with the stick, then they're automatically like, oh wait, there's a blind person. People don't know what to do. When we go to the movie theater, we would say, well, he only gets half the experience. Does he get 50% off? They would get confused and they would give him 50% off. So we would pull the blind card together. However, yes, he would pull it as well in a lot of different situations, even right now, you know, where he has one of my main things was always saying, Corey, we need to definitely bring in more income. And as the man, people will listen to you. So see if you can get more contracts and see what else you can do as far as, you know, because we have this, and this to cover,
Mhm.
whether it's for our household, for our business expenses. And as many of us know in 2023, that a lot of things skyrocketed
Oh,
now that
oh, I can. keep talking. Your microphone went out for a little bit.
Okay, so you all, hopefully
Oh,
you
it's
all can.
good.
Okay, great. And so he wasn't really doing much with the live broadcast. Oh, you know what? I think somebody's calling me, and that's why.
Oh,
Yeah,
okay.
my apologies. It's a spam call that came in. And anyone on the broadcast or some of our other shows. But then when he went into the silent mode, now he has all these conversations with different people, and I've been in different arenas. We've worked together for so many years, like I said, 25 years, that when people see me, they automatically will say, "Oh," and they'll mention something about him and vice versa. So
Right.
recently I had several times, two or three times, where someone said, "Oh, Corey did a great job at the show." I'm like, "What show? I, what show?" And because there's no communication there. And so that's where, yes, it is with the broadcast, there's no support there. Whereas, that's the part that's like, what is going on?
I
But
have a question to ask.
yes.
Let me know. You don't have to answer. Wait, let me read this comment. Oh, G Mama Grows. Hello, how are you?
Hello,
Um,
G Mama.
so let's put the show to the side for a moment.
Sure.
So, are you all together in the marriage together? Are y'all you're
I
shaking?
wouldn't say so. I would not say so, because anytime you have somebody that does not say anything to you, and then um, they start traveling with other women and bringing in income, and
Wait, whoa, 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 whoa. Let's back. What?
yeah, so this is where, like, there's different narratives. We're storytellers, and you can tell a story without verbally telling the story. So we have people that we've worked with over the years, and there's this one lady that she's a theatrical person, and she's married, and I don't
Oh my
know.
God.
I don't know if they adopted him, her and the husband, because one day I saw the husband dropping him off at home. But
Oh, okay.
earlier this year, Corey was very sick, and um he was sick like 2 weeks straight. And during that time, this is April, around April 18th or somewhere around there, the one lady, she called, the theatrical lady that ended up driving him to Baltimore and to DC for overnight stays to do shows. She called to say, "Hey, is Corey available? Because the other two guys are available tonight." I had no idea what she was talking about.
Mhm.
And Corey was laying on the bed, and he was like, just about incapacitated. But I was like, "I think you should go, whatever it is." I'm still unaware that he has signed up to be in a stage play that she's producing, and he's been going to practices. And that particular night, two other actors were available, and I'm
Mhm.
like, "Wait, how are you in a stage play? And we got expenses. Like, we don't have time to play right now."
Mhm.
So, that's where I started to I didn't even realize it at that time. And then a couple of weeks later went by, and he went into the hospital in May. I'm at the
Oh, I
hospital.
didn't
I'm
know
taking
that.
Yeah, he was there for a full week, like a full week and 2 days or something like that. And I'm at the hospital. I'm advocating for him with the nurses. I'm calling other people saying, "Hey, what do you think about this?" And one of the other YouTubers, Love and Live Show, she has this tea that she was saying that helped her, and she has different tea blends. I'm ordering the tea. I had just ordered some, so I take that to the hospital and everything. And the kids are coming, by the way. And so that's when I realized, like, wow, he got out of the hospital at June 10th and went right back to the silent treatment. And that's when I really realized, I guess we aren't together. We're not doing this together. And then he started traveling with the kids
What
in
does this
June.
mean? We're not doing this together.
The
What's
marriage.
this? God.
Yeah. And
Okay.
so, okay, I'll call her after 8. And so,
Understandable. Yeah, I
yeah,
got it.
I'm sorry, there's so much background noise right now. So definitely, I'm gonna take the kids home to drop them off, and we are about 7 minutes from home. So if y'all, yeah, business talk with K said, wait a minute, yeah, bro. Uh, yeah, ask questions, and then also, I know that I would love some feedback on the current food. Like
Ye-
people are always move over. I'm on the- People are always afraid to like people are always afraid that I'm going to make them eat too many vegetables or exclusively eat vegetables. And I don't want that. I don't want that thought. So if you're in the chat right now and you've seen the show, please give me some feedback on that as well. Do you feel like it's a force feed of vegetable? But
Well, can I start? Everybody, please put your comments in the chat. And yeah, put your comments in the chat. But it's a plant-based show, so I don't think it's an overload. I only eat chicken, fish, turkey. So if I think about it hard enough, I can stop eating chicken. Oh, and we're gonna get back to the story, you all, in 7 minutes. So, but this is still good information to know because health is wealth, and it does help with your mental health as well. But
absolutely.
it sure does. So yeah, we'll 7 minutes and we'll get back to the conversation prior. Um,
I would like to say something real quick about what you just said about it being a plant based show. So
yeah.
that's where, with the rebrand, I didn't want it to be a plant based show because I wanted people to just eat more fruits and vegetables, like literally to be a health hero for their loved one. And so that's where I just saw like whether there were meat eaters, whether there were people that didn't eat meat at all, a lot of them were eating processed and ultra processed foods so that they might eat a some sort of patty on bread and their
Mhm.
pickle was their quote unquote vegetable. They never had any
Mhm.
lettuce, any tomato, and I don't care so much for salads. That's not, my thing. I like my vegetables cooked. I like a lot of savory foods, but yeah. So that's where, I don't know if the show feels like that or not, but you tell me. I don't know. Y'all chat it up.
Yeah, let's hear about it in the chat. How you all feel about some of the recipes. I will tell you now, it doesn't matter who's cooking it. I don't like okra. I, however, I would taste okra when you made that mac and cheese yesterday or the day before. That looks so good. I would eat it. It would have to be camouflaged in something, but just to eat the okra, I'm not gonna be able to do it. I'm not. So, how long have you been? Would you consider yourself vegan or plant based, or is that the same thing?
They're not the same thing from like the actual definition. So this is where I wear an apron on my Superfood Parents show because I want to target, parents and how they're feeding their children so that their children can get raised with great habits as well. But this apron says vegan chef LaQuita Marie, and that was a gift. And so my children's violin and harp teacher, she bought that apron for me, and so I definitely adore it. However, vegan, that particular status, these categories that we have, like, are you American? Are you Democrat? Are you whatever? People like labels, right?
Mm-hmm.
And vegan means no animal products of any kind. They are not absolutely concerned about health. They're just concerned about animal welfare. So no leather, no, no,
Oh.
whereas whole food plant based, that means you really try to focus on eating whole foods that are minimally processed. So rather than a chicken, not a chicken patty, but a chickpea patty, you might just eat the chickpeas, or you might mash them, but you would not ultra process them, because you're plant based. All of your food is going to come from plants, but you're trying to get them from whole plants. So that's where we say whole food plant based. And then for me, my category is I just don't eat animals or their body part or any animal products. That's what I say. I just, and it's for health reasons because there's a
Mm-hmm.
lot of vegans that could care less about health. They really care about the animals. And my concern is me. My concern is you. My concern is your loved ones because I'm a nurse and I
Mm-hmm.
see, I really see the detriment of what we're doing to ourselves. We're like, oh, I got this pain, or oh, my blood pressure pill, and it's like y'all, all of this is lifestyle related. And so care enough about yourself to just eat your way to health. That's my goal, to
Oh,
help
I
people
like
do
that.
that.
Eat your way to health. So,
Yes.
how long have you been plant based?
Since about May of 2020. Yep.
Oh, really?
Yes. Yep. So
I
since
didn't
about
know
May of
that.
Yeah, you know what? 2020 was a time when a lot of us had a chance to just finally sit down. And I was so busy before then. Like, that was right in the middle of our busy season when everything stopped. And so I was excited because I was like, good, I can finally stop. I can just finally literally stop. I would manage all the contracts. I would put things on the calendar. I would double check things. And I would also go physically teach classes and perform and help schedule the babysitter and navigate that life, like a lot of busy parents do. And so when I got a chance but food was always my passion. So when I got a chance to just stop and then learn from Dr. Zach Bush, who had a holistic approach of the animals, the land, how all of these things are connected. And he really, in my opinion, was my best introduction to why you should care first about yourself. Y'all look at that trombone player. Excuse me, we somebody's playing trombone. But yeah, and so that's where I just started to realize, like, everything is related to what we eat. Like, all this climate change and global warming, if we stop eating animals and animal products, then we can stop clearing land. Um and so I know all of those things, but first and foremost, most people, if they would just eat more fruits and vegetables, they can at least help relieve a lot of the symptoms that they have with these spasms and cramps and issues that they have. Like, I
Hmm.
feel good most days. My stomach never bubbles. I can run or jump anytime I get ready to. I can duck. I feel good. Like, I actually feel good 99% of the time. The only time I don't is when I haven't had enough sleep and I'm just groggy, but that's grogginess.
Right.
That's not a physical feeling. And so, yeah, that's been really my passion and my goal for why I choose to eat my way to health.
I love that.
Um, and
Have
yeah,
Have you heard of the YouTuber called Harold LaFall? I think his last name is LaFall. Have you heard of him?
I'm not familiar. I'll have to check him out because I
So
try to follow everybody.
right. So I just found about him about a couple months ago, and he was diagnosed with prostate cancer. I think when he was 48 or 46,
Mhm.
and 48, I think. So now he's 56, and he realized that he needed to change. Can you all hear me? Put a one in the chat if you can't, if you
I
can
can
hear
hear
me.
you.
I
I
want
can
to know
hear you,
if
but I don't know if they can.
yeah, if you all listening, if you can put a one in the chat if you can hear me. Anyway, he changed his entire lifestyle with his eating because I know you're busy, but he changed everything over to plant-based and raw, and his skin looks better. He looks like he's aging backwards. Thank you, G Mama Grows. And he does a segment where he talks about everyday food that we eat and how it is banned in other countries, but we something like Lay's chips. I said, "Oh my god!" I never thought about it, so I just started trying to eat a lot cleaner. I
Yes.
went about a week just very as clean as possible, unprocessed
Hmm.
minimally, and then when I ate some food out, I felt like I had a rock at the bottom of my stomach.
You feel the difference. You really do feel the
Truly do.
difference. And speaking of the difference, thank you all for your compassion and your kind words. And I really appreciate it because this change has been interesting, but um, I've been doing this a long time, where with this independence.
Well,
And
what do you
that
mean by interesting?
it's been interesting because I just feel like, well, if you're the one that needs the help and have been the recipient of so much help, when I started asking for more and more help with the nutrition aspect, I really started to see the pushback of, I mean, why help you? And then that's when I started seeing, like, wait a minute, I never get sick. I've never been to the hospital. We've been to the ER with you. We've been to the, the urgent care. You've had hospital stays, and I've been there. Um, and I've also this business has been your interest and your baby, and whatever you wanted to do with it, I was figuring out ways to get it done, to make it happen, and let's do it. I remember one show, it was just me and Corey out loading the set, wooden pieces, putting them into the U-Haul, which of course I was driving. I had set up the rental for, and and I said, this is too much. But I guess those types of comments were seen as complaints, because over the course of this, what made this interesting to me was that Corey always specifically made it seem as though it was all about the business, Atumpan. I'm not helping him with that. And I'm like, well, wait a minute. There's all of life as well. There's all these other aspects as well that I'm helping you with and that I'd like some help with. And what have you helped me with? Um, when he was sick in April, we were on our way to a show, and I have this honey that you can drop into your eyes. And he came into the kitchen that morning before we left, and the first thing he said was, "Can I get the honey?" I said, "Well, first I need help with what we are doing today to make sure we have the checklist and we're good to go." He
Right.
walked he walked out. He stood there for a few minutes, then he walked out. Then he came back later. Um, and he still didn't really help with the checklist, but that was a part of his complaint later. I asked you for the honey and you told me no. And I said, well, I asked you for help and you never gave me the help. And he
Mm,
just ignored that aspect of the conversation. So that's what made it interesting to me. I said, wait a minute, you know what? I've just been on the hamster wheel and I wasn't seeing that the reciprocity wasn't there, that this
mhm.
weaponized incompetence or this quiet quitting or whatever else you want to call it. I don't know all the terms. I just know in hindsight what I was going through, because when you're busy, you don't see everything, or you see it, but you just have to keep going anyways. And so you don't
Yeah.
necessarily, you know, and I'm sorry to switch gears so quickly, y'all. As soon as the kids hopped out of the car, I just went right back to that.
No
Sorry.
worries. It's fine. And while we took that break, everyone listening, you can like this video, share it. Definitely subscribe, hit that subscribe button. I would definitely appreciate it. If you are not familiar with LaQuita's channel, I am putting the link in the description box as well as in the chat. Please go to her channel as well. Like, comment through her videos, and more importantly, subscribe to her channel as well. It really helps YouTubers. Okay, so
Can
Quita,
I can I just say something real quick about your channel as well?
yes, ma'am.
One reason I love this space, and I've been watching your channel for a few years now, is because you talk a lot about um, mental support. You have a lot of therapists that will come on, and you have a lot of people that have been through their own challenges, their own experiences, and the type of help they were able to receive. And I was like, wow, so there is help for us out here. And your channel has also been a part of me realizing that, oh, girl, you ain't the only one. And so
I didn't
just
know
keeping
that. Really?
absolutely, yes, absolutely. And that has helped me to say, oh, okay, well, yeah, just keep grinding then. And when he is going to, another trip, like they just came back from a 4-day trip with a
Who's
with a quote
that?
unquote friend, Corey, the quote unquote friend, and my kids. And I feel like been taking the kids with him as a buffer or something, but also like, oh, I can do it. Dad is doing everything. Really, dad is just capable.
Girl.
Dad is doing it. And and I've always told him, look, I'm not trying to be the best parent. I'm not a friend to my kids. I'm a parent to them. And I do try to make sure they have a good time when we go places, but I'm not trying to impress them or just be super parent. And that's where I said, okay, this lady, this lady knows me. She has my phone number. She could have called and said, hey, I'm going with them to the event. So that's where I'm like, the women, they've been champions. They've been right there for him. They've been different women have been there for me.
So we're
But
gonna ask the elephant question. This elephant in the room. You don't have to answer,
yes.
but do you think that there's something else going on with this person or people?
Probably not. I
Okay.
feel like most of it is just that, oh, we're helping the blind guy, right? Like the one lady, he was in her stage play. We've worked with her over the years. Her and her husband were helping with different
Mhm.
things. And so it's like I'm like, shoot, if you want to put the miles on your vehicle, go for it. Because typically I used to drive about 30,000 miles a year. That's how many, just to give
Woo.
everybody an idea. And this is where I did want to ask though, when you went on these trips with these women, did you help them stay awake? Because I would ask, hey, can you
Um,
help stay awake? Can you help me stay awake? And you over there falling asleep, which is where I'm like, okay, let me get the Luther. And I love Luther, y'all. And I sound just like him when I'm singing by myself. But I would be like, let me get the Luther, let me get the energy drink, let me do whatever. So that when
yeah.
we drove to Disney, I drove to Disney. And I drive everything in one shot. We don't go and stay overnight and then go again because it's too much work.
Mhm.
Same thing when I'm driving to Georgia, when I'm driving to DC, wherever, I'm just getting it done. And that's where I started seeing in hindsight, like when I was in it, I saw it that you're not helping. But I didn't ask, did you help these people when y'all were driving late? And when y'all went, did you help them stay awake? And I couldn't because he doesn't talk right now. And even when I'm
So wait, when
asking,
you say y'all don't talk, so it's just y'all in the house together? I mean, because I've been in a relationship like that before. We just did not talk. I mean,
yes,
we could pass each other in the hallway, and I mean,
yes.
so okay.
It's to the point where when I say we don't talk, what happens is, um, this is where I also said, oh, he's serious. I was on my way to help somebody. She's a wedding planner and event planner. I was
Mhm.
on my way to help her with an event, and he was looking for something on the kitchen floor. Now, old me would just automatically either pick the item up or say, oh, there it is. But I said, well, if he wants to help, I'll just let him ask. And when he didn't, I just got my keys and I just kept going. And I said, oh, okay. This is where we are. This is where
Wow.
we are. So no, we don't talk. And I have to actually, this is something that I learned on your channel about setting the boundaries because
Absolutely.
the first time that he left with the kids, he just called me maybe like 30 minutes before they were leaving. And I said, no, you can't just leave. I need to know when they're going, what's going on. I'm the parent as well. And
Mhm.
then it was, okay, he did call 2 days before. And that's what happened with the last trip. He told me last week on Tuesday night that we're leaving Thursday. But then they left at 6 in the morning. I got off work at 7 in the morning. Okay, great. I can't say goodbye. So that's where, now
Mm.
I got a chief petty officer badge, so I said, well, maybe he competing with me to be chief petty officer. That's fine, but you know,
So how was it with the shows? Because none of us knew. I mean, at least I know I didn't, but I'm sure the majority of your listeners didn't know. So how was it when you all with the old show before this rebranding? You all had
it,
the show, and then after, once cut, then what? I mean, did it seem was it awkward?
no, it was just okay. He just got up, would walk away, and I would have to turn off the ring light. Like before, his job was to turn off the ring light. Nope. Let me just get up. So I would just turn off the ring light. I would monetize the thing. I would take certain things, monetize it in the studio. I would take certain things out of the studio, out of our studio space, our physical space.
So you were just
Um,
busy doing the
just let me just do the things. Let me
yeah,
tick the boxes. Yes. And so, but when I see people and they say, and not only that, but keep in mind, we've been putting on shows for so long. It's easy. You can just put on a show, if you need to. And also, you try to be cordial and you try to keep it professional for outward people. And
absolutely.
so, hey Marco, good to see you, Marco. And so you try to keep it cordial and professional. However, my whole thing is, um, you know, at the same time, if you're out in different spaces and people are thinking, oh, I guess Quita just didn't want to do this. Like my own kids, I had to ask them. I said, do y'all know why I'm not there at the shows? And they said, I guess you didn't want to. I said, no, I didn't know anything about the shows. Daddy is
Oh,
now booking these shows and I don't know anything about it. I said, so like when y'all went to Baltimore, I said, y'all were in here when I was asking, because K Business Podcast was there when he met us at the Cherry Hill Music Festival last year.
mm-hmm.
K Business drove about an hour to meet us there in Baltimore. And I was like, wow, I had the gratitude and I was excited and everything. But this year, he went with the other lady and the kids. They stayed overnight because that festival provides us with lodging. And they came home and there was something that needed to be paid and it wasn't paid. And I'm like, hey, did you go put any money into the account? Because he had left and come back. Somebody had given him a ride. I think it was the husband. And he said, nope. And I said, well, do you have any cash to put in there? Mm-mm. I said, well, where's the money from the show? That's gone.
Oh,
So that's what I said. And so that's where I'm saying I started to just realize more and more to answer your earlier question of, are y'all together? I'm like, no, I would say not. I would say not.
wow.
And I would also say that where I said that I don't think there's anything going on with these women because I know one of them, she got a history of being with somebody else's husband, and but that was that man, you know, that was that dude. I don't know what it was with her and him, but I know that we've known her about 20 years, you know,
Mm-hmm.
um, and I don't think it's that sort of relationship, but who knows, um, look, you never know people's motive.
You do not. I will say this. Going back to our channels, that but before I say that, are you tired?
You know what? Sick and tired is a state that I've been for a very long time. And I actually don't think I'm sick and tired anymore. At this point, I just want to be sure that I protect my children from constantly feeling like they have to be on one side or the other.
That's great.
Um, I'm just like, okay, let me just make sure I try to continue to curate good experiences for you. Like tonight, because they play violin, they were at a business event playing violin at an olive oil tasting. And when they were getting out of the car, I was like, I'm going back up there because the first thing that she said is that she has to cash out me your payment, and
Mhm.
they're like, oh, yes, okay, we thought we were getting paid. Yeah, yeah, yeah. I want them to keep that childhood experience
Yeah.
of, excitement around different things. Um, I so I'm not I'm I wouldn't say I'm tired. Definitely I've been sick and tired for a long time, but I think now that I
Yeah.
really see where we are, then it's like, oh, okay, well, let me just do me then. And I'm free now because all this
Mm.
time when I was catering to, even in the house, hey, stop, you're about to bump into this or that. And I know that I've seen it, other people don't do the same thing. And I've also seen where he just expects for other people to kind of figure it out for him. So
Mm.
maybe he's getting better at that. Maybe he's getting better at communicating what he wants where other people are concerned.
Mhm.
Because, I also know that being blind is really hard, but when one person has something, other people have it too. So I've been blind along with him all that time. And I don't know that he's seen that. It's not just me, but all of the people that have been involved, my parents, his parents, his dad used to go to school with him when he first started college because he couldn't see. And even though he had been shown how to navigate the university, his dad
Mhm.
would go. So it's like, everybody has been going through this along with him as well. Um, and so, at this point,
Yeah.
this is where we are because I just know I became more and more demanding of, bro, you got to do more. Once 2020 hit and everybody was home alone, and I saw that there were opportunities to be had, but it was still like from his perspective, well, it'll happen or it won't. It was still that attitude that had been happening over the years, And maybe it was me that was changing, and realizing that, no, let's go get it. Let's really go get it. Um, I don't know, but this is where we are now.
So speaking of where we are right now, I want to say that first, I'm honored that you would have this conversation with me and you trusted me enough. So I am
Mhm.
honored and thank you because um hmm, I always believe there is healing in the conversation. I'm
Yes.
big on that on my channel. And this I think this would be, you let me know if this is healing for you. When I say healing, meaning you're not putting on that mask of the prior show you had before the rebranding. Like I said, when
Right.
your show was over, cut, and then everybody's back to their corners. So I applaud you. Really, I do, for you
Thank
coming
you.
and showing up as, not that you weren't your authentic self before, but like you truly you have taken the mask off.
Yes.
And you're saying this is what it is. This is what it is right now, as of what, August. And you're doing your thing. So
Yeah.
again, kudos to you. And
Thank you.
I really pray that however it's supposed to end, that it does. And like you said, the children are protected. But
Right.
take care of you as well. And kudos to you for see, I learned this in group therapy about nonviolent communication and and setting your need, asking for your needs and your wants and boundaries,
Mm,
all of that. And we observe a situation, we state our needs, make a request. So yeah, this is where we're at. How are you feeling
yeah.
now? How you feel?
I definitely will say I do feel great about this unveiling, unmasking,
Yeah,
because, no matter what, you've got to put on a face, you got to smile. When somebody asks how you're doing, you're just supposed to say fine. And a lot of us are going through things that are like, oh, I just got this notification that, um, of whatever it is,
right,
whatever it
right,
is. And so that's been where I have been with the rebranding and everything. And I was advised by the different business coaches, different ways that I could rebrand. Like, no, you don't have to slam anybody because it's not really a slam fest, one way or the other. Obviously, things have shifted. And so this is your chance to just focus on what you'd like to focus on. So I said, okay, great. And that part has felt good, but this feels great to move
mm,
forward knowing that I've actually said, no, the homeboy quit. He stopped,
yeah, yeah.
um, because that's exactly what happened. And it wasn't just a slow, I mean, it wasn't just an immediate thing. It was happening all this year, all 2023.
Was it a
And
slow burn?
you know what? I'm slow. So it was slow for me because let's just say in December, I had a fender bender where I dropped the kids off at school and then coming home, I was pulling into traffic and the lady hit the bumper. So I didn't get any help fixing the bumper because I have an old Suburban, right? So they were
Mhm.
like, oh, let's just total it because it's old. And I was like, no, I'm still driving it. What do you mean? I just got to get the bumper fixed. So they just said, okay, let's process the claim. But this is me handling it, handling everything. The same way I've always found our vehicles, found a place to live, secured the insurance, um, made sure that we had AAA or whatever the roadside assistance is, and all of those things. And so,
You sound
you
like
know,
me. We are not totaling this car. I do not want a car note. Quita does not want to. Like, we're trying to monetize over here. We're not
e-
trying to give out any money. I don't blame you.
exactly, exactly. And so that was December 7th. And so there had been no efforts on his part to help with any of that. Or I had found a mobile mechanic and he was sending me links to, okay, yep, buy this part from, autoparts.com or car parts, whatever. He had all the info because he could do the body work. But I wasn't getting any support or help, or there was no question of, oh, what do you need to do next, or what's this or what's that. No help. But I didn't see that. I still didn't see it as, oh, it's not reciprocal. However, I was told that, well, most people don't like your food that much. They just pretend and they just saying
Wait,
that they
hold
don't,
on.
they,
He said that nobody liked your food?
yeah, sure. Yes, absolutely. Yes. He's told me
What?
that. Yeah. And he's told me that several different times. And that's where I said, okay, you know, maybe that's the blindness wearing down on him where he constantly feels beat down, like I still can't see, I still have this on me. Let me just get somebody else, in a downtrodden space where I am. But yeah, I've been told that your food ain't that great anyway. So, if the kids aren't eating something, if they aren't enjoying something or whatever, and I'm like,
Mhm,
Corey, tell them to eat. Because, in general, my kids were finicky, even when we were eating shrimp, steak, chicken, whatever it was, they would be like, oh, yeah, this is great. And then they wouldn't eat it the next time. They've always been like that. And I'm a top shelf type of person. I always try to get the best quality. So, I'm buying grass fed beef. Y'all better eat this food. But well, maybe they don't like it. Maybe you doing too much with the seasoning. And then to the point where I'm that person that always takes people food. So once I hear you can see people's response. If they genuinely like it or not. And I've
mhm.
always had a lot of vegetables in my dishes, even when I was eating meat. But yeah, well, most people they're just being polite. That was what I was told. And I was thinking, well, no, because I have the experience of I hear them, I see the full response. And that's where I was like, well, that's what I mean by this has been interesting. You know,
Ah,
this has been
wow.
interesting. Now, I tell anybody, I'm mean and evil. I can say some mean stuff. So I was also like, well, maybe he's just trying to be mean back. Okay, he doing pretty good. He got some pretty good comebacks. I just looked at it that way because I'm always looking at the glasses half full. So it's never going to be, nothing is ever going to weigh on me that much. Even when I die, I'm like, I'm gonna have a good time because after I die, I'm gonna probably come back as something else real quick. So I just have I just
Girl,
have
I want to
I just
say so much. We gonna have another talk offline. You know how we did. But uh, JT Junior grows in Alaska said, "Dang, maybe counseling."
okay, I'll address that.
Wait,
One
what's
of
our
his
time? Because I want to respect your time. It's
Oh yeah, we have about
7:57.
yep, we have about 2 minutes left. Thank you for asking.
Yes.
So because I do have to go to work tonight from 9 to 7, I gotta go to work. So one of his best friends, he said, I can give you the number to my counselor because he didn't know any of this. People didn't know until I started telling them because he was going around everybody making it seem like everything was okay, kikiing it up.
So
And so
both
I
of
was
y'all
like,
were wearing a mask until now.
yeah, but
Yeah.
even now, I don't think he's telling people. He's just making it seem like, oh, Quita just don't want to do this anymore. So that's what they're assuming. And so when that friend gave us the number to counseling, and I told in front of the kids, I said, y'all, the ball is in his court. If this is what Daddy wants to do, nope. That was back when he was in the hospital in June.
Mm,
Um, and so yeah, like the conversation of counseling has been come up years, for years, and but specifically, maybe just in the last few months in June, that was given to him by one of his best friends.
mm,
And there's another friend of ours that I told because he is a counselor. He's a pastor. He's a counselor. He's one of Corey's old friends, like his dad's friends. And he said, and I told him, I said, well, if there is to be any move, if there are to be any moves made, it would have to come from his end. So you would have to talk to him. I'm open to whatever. Because
yeah.
my thing is, I'm gonna just keep it pushing regardless. So,
And you can go
um,
to your own counseling as well if you choose
right,
to. I mean, I'm a mental health advocate, so I'm always going to say that. But, counseling, it can be for several things. Before you go, may I read a couple of the comments people have for you?
absolutely, sure.
So, G. Gilbert said, "Man, I thought that LaQuita misdirected me or us to the wrong show. No, this is the right show, G. Gilbert,
G.
based
Albert,
on the title, Black Girls Getting a Shit Together. But man, was I wrong." And GT, I'll just
he
say
said,
GT didn't
GT
mind my
Junior,
business.
GT Junior,
And there was another, oh, here it is. A- Anakanea. I hope
and
I said it
Ania.
right. And
Anania.
Anaya,
Nia.
I have gained another level of respect and admiration
Oh,
for you. I absolutely love you something awful, which is
thank you.
beautiful.
Thank you.
And Bravo with Sheila Network said, Bravo to you, LaQuita. Absolutely change is not easy, but we know when nothing changes, nothing
Nothing
changes.
changes.
I love that. And it won't be just for this situation, it's in life in general. And it's
Yeah.
true. Nothing changes, nothing changes. I admire you as well for coming on. Growth is not easy. But one of my coaches, therapists said about the rubber band and how life can be that, and how much are you gonna, not you, but you in general, how much we stretch ourselves
Yes.
to see how far we can go. So,
Yes.
woo,
Thank
girl,
you.
thank you. Wow. Maybe a part two. We can do something else, but we're definitely going to talk offline for sure. But
All
I'm
right.
proud of you.
Thank
I'm
you.
very proud of you.
Thank you for
I
this
am.
opportunity. Thank you for this platform. Thank you for the support from everyone. Bravo with Sheila Network has been another source of inspiration because that's one of her sayings: when nothing changes, nothing changes.
She's
And
right.
she has a lot of great stories that have helped me to grow and to understand as well. And just accept, and just accept rather than being tired or sick and tired, also to accept some of these things and just say,
Ooh, that's
this is what it
good.
is. And so yeah, well, if you're going to work, go to your old ways and just say, okay, let me just go back to this grind. This works until the next thing works, because there might be a part two, because I'm still working on um scaling up my online presence so that I don't have to keep going, because I'm a ventilator nurse. And when you have ventilator experience, everybody wants you. Like, you're always in demand. And I do private duty. So it's like it's a high responsibility situation because you're the only person there. And when you have a floppy baby and their trach has popped out and they're dependent on the ventilator, you got to think fast, you got to keep it clean, and you just got to, get everything
Mhm.
done. And so that is not what I can do. That I do it well. I do it with a lot of love and compassion. But
Right.
I do prefer, I really enjoy the online space. I really enjoy
Yeah.
educating people and getting more fruits and vegetables every
And you're
spread.
good at it. You're good
Thank
at
you.
it. And it's entertaining. It really is.
Hmm.
So, speaking of boundaries, I want to respect your time and your boundaries.
Yes.
Absolutely. Everyone, thank you so much for tuning in to Black Girls. Oh, wait, LaQuita, guess what?
What?
You are a Black girl that has her shift together.
Mm. Thank you. Thank you.
So everyone, make sure and tune in next week. I have Vicinda Crawford. I'll put her link in description. We're doing a part 2 with her. It's a true crime with her story. She was engaged to a pastor who ended up unaliving another woman in his life and all of that. So you'll have to go back and get the details. But she's coming on for a part 2. And yeah, make sure like, subscribe, share this video, like and subscribe to LaQuita's channel. If you forgot it, I already put it in the comment section, and it's also in the show description box. Any parting words, beautiful?
Be a health hero for your loved one. Please be a health hero
Mm.
for your loved one. That way you won't need a nurse. G Mama Rose is a nurse. She was in the military as a nurse. They do even more work. They are almost surgeons. You don't want to have to be taken care of in that way. Be a health hero for your loved ones. Please, 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 please get those fruits and vegetables every spread. It really is healing. Thank you.
Good deal. Thank you so much. And we'll go out on that note. Everyone, have a beautiful evening and see you next week. Make sure and tune in.
This for the queens, sisters manifesting their dreams. Get your cream by any means and beam with self-esteem. Beauty supreme and Buddha walk so mean. The way you fit in them jeans, you eat your cornbread and greens. Dance or a doctor, red wine or vodka. Redesign your spot and redefine your mantra. Retwist your locks and realign your chakras. Doing your squats and getting closer to God, huh? Brunching with your squad or taking a girl's trip. Adjust your crown, you God's gift to the world, sis. Celestial body, drink your water. Meditate, sun kiss God is heavenly order. levitate, tribe of Ashanti, black girl magic, melanin popping, whether you ratchet or lavish, whether you bougie or savage, you a gift and a treasure. You got to love a black girl getting a shift together. Black girls are getting a shift together. These black girls getting a shift together, man. These black girls are getting a shift